Hey everybody, welcome back to the Cobra engine build. It's been a while since my last video. I've had some struggles with this engine build, but I've reached a milestone here and I want to tell you about it. If you remember the last video, I was having this head stud turned down. So I took that stud to a local machine shop and had it turned down by 20 thousandths of an inch. And they did that. And I put it back in, got it all put together and tested the oiling and made a world of difference. I was having issue with, I was getting oil on this side, but much less over here. So opening that passageway up by turning down that stud made a world of difference, and it oils good on both sides now. So the other thing I was waiting on was for Edelbrock to send me a replacement intake. They had taken back my original one and sent me a new one, so I'd been waiting for that. It came and measured it, and it wasn't drastically different, but I was able to get it to fit. There was just some interferences, just some compromises I had to make in different spots. I wasn't anticipating having, new heads and intake combination not go together perfect. So just trying to figure out what compromises I needed. So trying to make sure that the ports were aligned okay. Then, there's this interface for the valve covers being level and flat. And then you need to make sure that the bolts are all going to drop in, because if they don't and it gets hung up, then when you torque it, it's not going to be, sealing against the gaskets. So had to check all of those different things. And what I wound up doing was going with thicker intake gaskets. So I had a set of standard thickness gaskets, but it wasn't sitting the way I wanted it. So I wound up getting these thicker gaskets. These are 94 thousandths gaskets, and it was the right combination of compromises on all those different things to make it kind of go together right. So the bolts went in fine. That was one main thing I was looking for. And the interface here it's still not perfect, but it's better than it was. And from what I've seen, the amount that this is off is going to be okay for the cork style gasket that I'm going to use. And then I'm going to put some silicone in this area to help. But from what I read online, that should be okay. So that all went together, and then I test fit the rocker assemblies and with the push rods to make sure that the push rods were not going to rub on anything. You can see they go through the intake on this style engine, and they're close in some spots, but I wanted to make sure they weren't rubbing anywhere. So I did wind up making some changes to the shimming of the rockers that I had done already. So I took all that off, disassembled, cleaned the rockers, put them back together with the new shimming pattern that I came up with, and then put it back together using assembly lube on all the moving parts, put the rocker shafts on, torqued them down, and then went through the process of adjusting the rockers. So these all had to be adjusted. So what I did was turn the engine over, go one by one, turn the engine over and make sure that the lifter is as low as it goes on the base circle of the cam. And then, adjust this to take up all the slack. And then once the slack is gone, rotate it one full turn. And what that does is it puts 50 thousandths of preload on the lifters, which is what it's supposed to have. So I did that all around on each one. And as a kind of a visual check, I can see where these adjusters end up, and they actually end up exactly where I thought they should based on my original measurement. So when I was measuring for how long these push rods needed to be, I kind of knew, accounting for that 50 thousandths, I kind of knew where those adjusters would end up, and they did. So it just kind of tells me that I must have done it right. So happy about that. But then turning the engine over, just watching the push rods and just making sure there's no rubbing, making sure there's no, you know, unusual sounds or anything. And that all looked pretty good. So the next thing I did was I spun the oil pump with the drill, and I got 85 psi cold oil pressure, which I thought was good, and also verified that I was getting oil at each of the valve tips. So I'm considering that part done. So you know, the hard part I think is mostly done. I'm gonna move on to valve covers next. So I bought these. I found these from Anson, and I just kind of like the way they look. They're aluminum, and I don't know, I just think they're gonna look good. So they're well made, and they have an oil baffle on the inside, and I'm going to need to make some adjustments there because I was getting it to interfere with this rocker stud right here, so might have to cut those a little bit. But yeah, that's next, and then, you know, we got the water pump and the front drive stuff. So, but it's coming together pretty good. Probably going to do the next video once I do all those things. It's going to look pretty much done for the next one. Yeah, it's coming along. Also, the actual Cobra kit itself from Factory 5 has shown up. I've got that. I'm doing all the inventory on all the parts, all the gazillion parts they sent me. So making sure I have everything for that. But yeah, it's been fun. So yeah, thanks for watching. Check back for the next one when this engine is mostly done. Okay, see ya.